My name is Amit, and I'm going to teach you business management. So let's start in this chapter, the first chapter, that is the overview of management. The learning objectives will be to know the meaning of management, then learn the need and process of management. We will discuss the characteristics of professional management, and then know the evaluation of management thoughts and understand the contribution of Taylor and Henry Fayol in the evolution of management thoughts. So, let's start with the introduction of the topic, meaning and definitions of the term management. Manage, to manage is a verb, and it comes from the Italian word managere, which means to handle, especially tools, which is derived from the Latin word manus, that is hand. Therefore, managing can refer to handling tools and other resources. Management in today's world is a wide concept that covers not only handling of tools, human beings, but also various kinds of situations. In any business, resources can prove to be efficient and productive only if they are handled and used in a right way. So whatever we do, let's say in the morning when you wake up, you say that I need to during this entire day I need to do certain 10 things during the entire day. That means you are managing your day. You are handling the time that you have to manage all the activities that you want to complete. Then management is that science which guides the transformation of such valuable resources into utility. Now, utility is nothing but, as you have learned in economics, that utility is the want satisfying capacity of a thing. So it can be anything. It could be a human resource, that is an employee working in the organization. It could be a machine that is being used on the manufacturing floor. It could be time. It could be anything that can be used. There are few important definitions of management by different management professionals. Harold Kuntz, Cyril O'Donnell, they have defined management as an art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. It is the art of creating an environment in which people can perform as individuals and yet cooperate towards the attainment of group goals. It is the art of removing blocks to such performance, a way of optimizing efficiency in reaching goals. So, what they say is management is an art. Art of what? Getting the things done through people and with people in a formally organized groups. So when I say that in a company there are different departments, accounts payables, accounts receivables, taxation, IT, HR, it is nothing but company wants to manage all these activities so in such a way that if things don't happen in a particular manner, a responsibility can be placed on certain individual for not performing the things or for not managing the things in a proper manner. Even if they are in a different group, still they are there to achieve a corporate goal, that is maximizing the profit. So each department has their contribution of managing the things in an efficient way, so that it removes all the blocks. So all the blocks means cooperation amongst the people, supportive nature, then their behavior, then the performance, then the way they do the things. So all these things can be managed effectively and efficiently to optimize the profits. Then George R. Terry has defined management as a distinct process which consists of planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling performance to determine and accomplish the objectives by the use of people and resources. So, this is a short form of what Harold Kuntz, Cyril, and O'Donnell has mentioned in the first definition. It clearly says that in a group of people, to attain certain objectives or to achieve certain objectives, they have to first plan. After planning, they have to organize the resources in such a manner that they can achieve the goals. then they have to control their performances. So if the things are not happening as planned, there has to be a process of controlling the resources, that is either people or any other resources, so that the company goals can be accomplished. Then Theo Heyman has defined management as a sum total of all processes, including planning, direction, control, and organization. Again, it's a short form of what George Terry said. It says is the sum total of all the processes. So, whatever ways the company is following to work in achieving the goals, those goals, those processes are defined are considered in this definition. So the ways of process is nothing but the way of working. So that way of working should also include planning, direction, control, and organization. So that's the way they have Theo Heyman has defined management. Stanley Venn said that it's simply the process of decision making and control over the actions of human beings for the express purpose of attaining predetermined goals. So it's obvious, and we all know that whatever objectives of the company are, they are predetermined. So whatever goals the company sets, they set the goals during the at the start of the year, and to achieve such goals, whatever process is followed and the decision making that is done, through that decision making they have to have the control over the actions of human beings that are working in the organization, and the outcome of such actions has to be to attain the predetermined goals, that is company goals. That process is called management. Then S. George said, management consists of getting things done through others. Manager is one who accomplishes the objectives by directing the efforts of others. Now here, together with management, even the word manager has also been defined. What S. George says is, concept of management consists of getting the things done through others. So it's not that the manager has to work, the manager is supposed to get the things done, and the way that manager gets the things done is called management. And then he defined manager as one who accomplishes the objectives by directing the efforts of others. So he gives direction to his team. So let's say there is a manager there is a manager of a department, and he is having 10 different people reporting to him, and they have predetermined goals to achieve. So the person who is the line manager of that team, he will give direction to the team to get the things done, and that way the team has to achieve certain goals. Then William Springell has defined management as a function of an enterprise which concerns itself with the direction and control of the various activities to attain the business objectives. It is just like what S. George has mentioned, it is just that the words are different. Joseph Messi has this Joseph Messi is no relative of Lionel Messi. Uh, so Joseph Messi has defined management as a process by which actions are directed by a cooperative group for achieving common goals. Again, the same definition with different words. Henry Sisk has mentioned management as the coordination of all the resources through the process of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling in order to attain stated goals. Again, the same definition. It is just that he has mentioned here that mere planning, organizing, directing, and controlling is not sufficient for management. What is required is coordination of all the resources that are there. So man, machine, material, capital, all these things have to be put together in a coordinated manner with the process of planning, defining, organizing, directing, and controlling. That way, entire thing can be called as a management. From all these definitions that are given by these different management professionals, it is very clear that management consists of getting the things done through others. This definition also gives a fair idea that the management is all about directing the resources in the right way, which will ensure attainment of the objectives. Then we will go to the nature and characteristics of management. Management is a goal oriented. The first characteristic of management is it is goal oriented. So, in all the definitions, what we have seen is a set of groups consisting of different people come together in a coordinated manner. They plan, they get the directions from the others, they perform, they coordinate, and they achieve goals. So whatever process is there is always goal oriented. So it can't be like you are planning something and you are not achieving any goals. As I mentioned the example that every day, if you once you get up, you plan your day, you say that this 10 different things I need to complete in this day. So your goal is to complete those 10 things. So whatever we do, if there is no goal at all, it's of no use. Then the second characteristic is that management is intangible. It's obvious, it cannot be touched, it can be felt only. So whatever you can touch, you can see, you can hear, is all tangible. Management is abstract and cannot be seen with the eyes. The process of management cannot be seen or touched. The principal theories, techniques, concepts and practices of management are practically invisible. Now I can just say that I'm a manager in a certain organization. I manage a team of 10 people, 100 people. But can anyone see how I achieve that goal, how I manage that team? No one can see that. It is intangible. Third point is management is a purposeful activity. It's obvious because the first characteristic in itself says that it is goal oriented, and if it is not a purposeful activity, you won't be able to achieve your goals at all. Management is concerned with the efforts of a group. In the words of Apple, the management is concerned with the management of people and not the direction of things. Management motivates workers to work hard. So the basic criteria of being a manager is that manager has to consistently motivate his team to do certain things. Now, what kind of motivations are there? I would be explaining the motivational practices and what is motivation, what types, all the types of motivation and all in the future chapters. But I will just give you a brief idea about, let's say, if a employee is performing really well. So to keep him motivated, what management does is they give him some kind of incentives. Now those incentives could be either in monetary terms, or it could be some gift vouchers or something. Or let's say the management will send that person to a road trip, which will help that person to come back with some good mood and work more efficiently and get the things done. Either it could be that, but let's say if an employee is not working good, then there is negative motivation that the person may get memo, he may get a threat from the management that he will be kicked out of the organization if he do not perform. That also is a type of motivation, that is a negative motivation. Then we will go to the next point, that is management is dynamic. Now in earlier years, I mean when the India started industrialization, then the businesses got set up, the management was nothing but bossing. So the manager used to come and scold his employees that you have to do this, you have to do that. Then after some years, there was a change in the funda. Then the behavior of the managers also changed. Then they started taking the team together. Then understand from them what all initiatives can be taken to achieve the goals and all. Now the thing is, if you have visited any company, then you would see that top management is sitting just on the same floor with the executives. So the lower management. So it happens that the lower management feels that top management is just sitting next to me, they are there to support me. Other way, they also feel that the managers are sitting just next to me, so they are watching me all the time. I have to perform. If I don't work for next 15-20 minutes, they are going to come and ask me why you are not working. So by just making that simple change, that instead of sitting in cabins, the top management is coming out on the floor and sitting just next to the executives who are reporting to them. So over the years, the funda of management things has changed, and it is changing every now and then. New things are coming up, the new ways of managing the team has come up. Now the managers think that we have to take the team together with us to achieve the goals in a better way. So by this, it is sure that management is dynamic. Then the next point is management is a continuous process. As I mentioned in the example, that over the years it is changing all the time. It is changing, so it is continuous. The process of management is continuous. It's not that one company achieves certain goals and then they stop managing the things. No, if goals for this year have been achieved, then they set up next goals for the next year, and the team has to work accordingly. They have to manage the things, the managers have to get the things done, they have to direct, they have to plan, they have to coordinate and achieve the goals. Management applies economic principles. According to Dr. Kimball and Kimball, management is the art of applying the economic principles that underlie the control of men and materials in the enterprise under consideration. So, to explain this point, I'll give you one example. Let's say if some company is working on certain activity, and to complete that activity for one country, if it is taking efforts of half person, so that mean, what does that mean is that in a everyday situation, let's say if I'm an employee, I can work for 8 hours during the day, and to complete the work of one country I need 4 hours. So rest 4 hours I would be sitting idle, I won't be working, so it's a loss to the company. So what they do is they will just add one more country in my bucket, so that I would be busy full day. It's a principle of economic. So they look at the cost benefit analysis to understand if whatever salary we are paying to the employee, are we getting those much of services from that employee or not. This is principle of economic. I just giving you one simple example for that. Then management involves decision making. Management involves decision regarding various aspects of management. Management is a decision making process, and the decisions are involved in all the functions of management. So let's say if the overall main objective of the company is to achieve a milestone of 400 crores profit. That's the overall main objective of the organization. Now, for achieving that overall objective, what needs to be done by the different departments, I'll tell you. First decision that has to be taken is by the sales team. So sales team will have to have increased sales. So they have to define their different targets. They have to take some tough decisions to increase their volumes, that is turnover. Once the turnover is set, that okay, for achieving 400 crores profit, we will have to sell at least 2000 crores worth goods to the customers. Now how are we going to achieve that? It's not that the sales team is going to sit in the office and then they will achieve 2000 crores. They will have to do the marketing more effectively, more efficiently. Now marketing function comes in, and they say that okay, now we'll have to market more effectively, so we need more money to do the marketing. But top management will say you will have to cut down on the expenses. So reduce the expenses, increase the sales, which will give you higher profits. So such type of decisions are taken by each department individually to achieve a common objective that is set by the organization, that is earning 400 crores of profit. Then next point is management is getting things done through others. In the words of Herald Kunz and Cyril O'Donnell, management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized groups. So when we say management, we normally don't look at the micro level. Micro level means individually, we, I, you, individual people. We look at the companies. So in a company, it's the manager who gets the things done from his team. So in a simple layman's terms, Kunz, O'Donnell and Cyril mentioned that it's an art of getting the things done from the others. It's a skill. You cannot just become a manager and start getting the things done. You have to adopt certain behavioral approaches to get the things done from others. 10th point is management is an integrating process. So integrate, the word itself says that integration means multiple resources coming together and doing the things. So we have to think of main, machine, capital, so that all these resources come together in the organization and then the miracle happens, that is management and achieving of goals. 11th point is management coordinates all activities and resources. Again, as integration takes place, as per point 10, it's obvious that all activities are coordinated and the resources too come together to achieve the goals. Management is interdisciplinary. It's a body of discipline and takes the help of other social sciences like psychology, anthropology, engineering, economics, sociology, statistics, etc. If I'm hiring a chartered accountant in finance department, does that mean I will have to hire a chartered accountant, or does that mean that chartered accountant is going to work in, let's say, sales and marketing team? No. In sales and marketing team, we will have to consider a person who is having experience of marketing. In sales, we need people who have the experience of sales. In finance, we need people who are from a finance background. They have acquired some set of knowledge through their either professional courses or through degrees. In HR, we cannot hire an engineer. The HR has to be there who has done, let's say, MBA in HR, who has certain amount of experience in HR. So it is interdisciplinary. Management is a profession. Management is becoming a profession because there are established principles of management which are being applied in practice. Today, the managers as professionals have become a very powerful and respected group in the recent modern history, modern society. Whereas when I say that I work as a manager in a certain company, you easily understand, you can relate some principles of management with that word. When I say I'm a manager in a company, you understand that yes, I'm good at planning, yes, I coordinate the resources, I integrate, I do have what we can say is informally or formal relations with the different departments of the organization. I bring people together, I take decisions, I get the things done. So all these things you correlate with this word that I am a manager. So all these things nowadays gives more respect to the managers or this word management, and it is being used as a profession now. Then management is both a science and an art. Management has developed certain principles and laws which are applicable to any group activity. It is also an art because it is concerned with the application of knowledge for the solution of organizational problems. It's an art because it's a skill. You cannot just become a manager, as I said earlier. You need to develop certain skill set to become a good manager. You don't want to be a boss, you want to be a leader, you want to be a manager, you want to get the things done from others. So you should understand the psychology of the team that is working for you. You need to understand the ways of working of the organization, and the ways of working of the organization would be different in different companies. So you need to understand all these things. So it's an art as well as it's a science because it involves the psychological aspect also. Managerial functions are universal and all pervasive. Management is comprehensive and covers all departments, activities, and employees. Managers operate at different levels, but their functions are identical. That this indicates that management is a universal and all pervasive process. The point is self-explanatory because in earlier points I have mentioned that it is a decision-making process. It is integrating process. It is getting the things done from the others. All these points. So I'm not explaining this point any further. Then management is innovative. It's obvious because let's say if in this particular year I'm getting something done from the team in a specific manner. Next year, if I get same problem, then what I'm going to tell my team is we are getting this problem every year. So come up with a solution which will ensure that this problem never comes in the future. So I have to make my team continuously thinking, continuously ensuring that they deliver the results in such a manner that the problems that they have dealt with in this year are never going to come in future. Management is different from ownership. Owners are shareholders, right? Shareholders are not part of the routine management of the organization. Management is concerned with the planning, organizing, directing, coordinating and controlling of the business processes. So it's obvious that the ownership is totally different than the management. So these are all the natures and characteristics of management we have seen so far. Now we are going to look at next point, that is management as an art, as a science and as a profession. We'll take it up one by one. Management as an art. Art is nothing but the application of scientific principles for the attainment of pre-planned targets or goals. Art refers to creative skills and talents which people require to conduct certain activities in order to accomplish certain goals. As I mentioned earlier, you cannot just become a manager overnight. You have to acquire certain amount of skill set to become a good manager. Never be a boss, be a leader, be a manager. Manager is nothing but managing the people. So it is obvious that the responsibility on the manager's shoulder will be high than what it would be on the team that is reporting to him. So the manager has to ensure that he is getting the things done from others. So he needs to understand the capabilities of his team, each and every individual working in his team, understand the knowledge that the team is having, bring them on the same platform, groom them so that they, to a certain extent, they can take decisions on their own, build their capabilities, provide them sort of trainings so that they understand the things very clearly, they implement the decisions taken by the management very effectively. Mary Parker Follett, Harold Kunz, and several other management authors called management as the art of getting things done through people. Obviously, they are right what they said. Management is innovative. This is one of the characteristic of management that we have already seen. Individual approach to handle situations. It's like every manager need to adopt his individual approach or style of managing to handle situations. As I say, every individual is different than others. Some are less capable, some are more capable, some are outstanding, some are exceptional. Our thinking abilities are totally different. So the psychology of every person is different. You may get viable or you may panic in certain situation, whereas I may not panic. I will remain calm during that situation. I may adopt certain things which will resolve the problem very easily. You may not be able to do that. So it's obvious that it is an individual approach to handle the situations. Application and dedication of skills. Good managers of today not only require skills and knowledge, but there is also need for discipline, dedication and commitment on the part of managers. Accomplishment of results. Every good manager, like an artist, is always practical and action based. What matters is not just activities but accomplishment in the form of results. So let's say if you come to your teachers and say that I have studied entire year, but if you do not get marks in the final exams, are you are you going to say that look at the efforts I have taken? No, you cannot go and tell this to a manager that I have worked hard, very hard. The manager will ask, okay, what are the results? What are the numbers that you have achieved? So manager has to be always a goal oriented person. He should deal with the results and not with the efforts. Initiatives. Managers, like artists, take the initiative in doing the right things at the right time. They also encourage or develop initiative among their subordinates. This helps to accomplish organizational goals. As I explained earlier, nowadays it is the managers who ask their team to take the initiative. So let's say if I'm the manager of the organization and I had developed certain solutions, but it is also possible that there could be a different perspective of getting these things done, or there could be a different solution, different workable solutions for the same problem, which might not have come to my attention when I applied my mind. So what I do, I ask my team, entire team, to come together, think from their side, and um, and propose some workable solutions. And from those solutions, if I pick one, it has a psychological effect on the on my team, because they feel that the manager is taking, or manager is asking them to work on certain things, so they are getting a chance to think, they would be part of decision making process. And if I'm implementing one of those solutions as proposed by the team, then they feel like their decisions are being implemented by the managers. So they feel like they whatever they have done, they are doing it for the good of the company, and which gives them some kind of a motivation. Intelligence. Successful managers are intelligent. They need to have mental intelligence, social intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, and emotional intelligence. So what does that mean? As I mentioned, it's the cooperation which gives the results. To cooperate, I need to understand, I need to be intelligent enough to understand what the employee is going through right now. If let's say one employee is having some troubles, domestic issues, that is there are some issues in his family, then it's obvious that he will be distracted because of such things, and he won't be able to perform in a better manner. I need to understand that. I need to motivate that employee. I need to give some assurance to him that yes, even if things are happening, even if the things are not going in your way, still we are there to support you. And what support company gives is, they have the mediclaim insurance policies for the employees, or for their dependent spouse or children, so that employee don't have to pay for such things. The insurance company will take care. The premium is paid for such policies by the company. It's a motivation for the employee. Then social intelligence. I need to be very good as a manager in having some social interactions with the team. Now, having some social interactions with the team, that doesn't mean that I need to be I need to be a friend of my team on Facebook. I need to follow their Instagram. They have to follow my Instagram. It's not that way. During the day, just have a 5-minute huddle with the team to understand, okay guys, what's happening with you? Okay, your hobby is you play tabla. How is it going nowadays? Okay, your child is going for some Bharatanatyam classes. How is she doing? Your parents were not feeling well last year. How are they now? Just ask these simple questions, which will make their employees feel more connected with you as a manager. Again, the same thing, that is interpersonal intelligence and then emotional intelligence. I've covered all these things in that one point. Then management as a science. Science is a systematized body of knowledge based on proper findings and exact principles and capable of verification, which is universally accepted. Not Henry Fayol, it's the F.W. Taylor, perhaps was the first person to consider management as a science. He was of the opinion that management should conduct their business affairs by certain well established standards. Sciences can be divided into two groups. One is the physical science, and the other is the social science. Physical sciences like physics, chemistry, and mathematics are exact and accurate, whereas social sciences are not so exact and accurate as they deal with human beings. Management is a social science because it deals with human beings. Because if we are going to get the things done from others, it involves social science. Since human nature cannot be predicted with accuracy, the decisions taken in management may just be one way of doing things in a given situation and not the only way of doing things. As I mentioned to you, if as a manager, if I only think of the solutions, I may get hardly few. But if I ask my team to take the initiative and think of the workable solutions, they might come up with different solutions which I might not have been able to think. Systematic collection and processing of information. Managers collect information either by observation, experiment, or by practice. For example, a marketing research manager may collect information either by way of observation or experimentation or by way of field research. The collected data is systematically processed through computers or such other techniques. After processing, the data is analyzed, and then by using his judgment and experience, the manager takes a decision. So let's say if I want to sell ink pen. If I start selling an ink pen at a place where there is no school at all, am I going to lose or am I going to get profits? It's obvious I'm going to lose, because if I don't have people who are going to use that ink pen, then it's obvious that I'm going to lose. So I have to define, I have to get certain information from the geographical locations. Then if I say that okay, there are 10 lakh schools in Maharashtra, out of those 10 lakh schools, if I say that most of the schools are let's say in Pune, Mumbai, Sangli, Satara, and Kolhapur, in these 5 districts, then the decision that my team will take after processing this data is that okay, let's have our stores in these 5 districts to earn more turnover, or to have the more turnover of ink pens. So manager has to collect the data, process it, and then take the decisions on that basis. Output may vary, the inputs being the same. As I gave you one example, that if you study entire full year and then even if you don't get marks, so let's compare 10 different students. All 10 different students have really done their studies really hard during the entire year, but results will vary, because the results do not depend majorly on the studies. Results depend on how you perform at the examination. It could be possible that out of those 10 students, 2 students concentrated only on some important points. Remaining 8 students concentrated on everything. So while doing everything, they might have missed to have a grip on certain things of this chapter, or of the entire syllabi. But those 2 students have done or have studied important key points very hard, and they have the in-depth knowledge of those key points. Now in the examination, if the questions are asked only on asked for the key points they have studied, they are going to excel, because of the performance they had on the basis of the study they did. So they highlighted the key points, they collected the data, they processed it, they had an in-depth knowledge of those, and they performed. So that performance is going to give you better results than only the hard workers. Process of management is universally followed. Managers in all organizations, whether large or small and at all levels, follow the process of management. All managers need to plan, organize, direct, and control their activities. This has been explained earlier. Principle of management are universally accepted. It's obvious. It's majorly social science. So it is accepted by entire world that the management is done in a specific manner, and this is that manner. So yes, those principles are universally accepted. Now, so far we looked at the definitions of management, meaning of management, characteristics and nature of management, then management as an art, and then management as a science. Now, in the next lecture, we are going to cover management as a profession, and then characteristics of profession. Does management have all the characteristics of a profession, and then the need of management study. So, thank you. Bye.